But tell us about your character and sort of what's going on.
So, Nicole Gravely, wow, I play this awesome girl. She's the number 2 in the unit. It's like Rain and then me, and basically Rain is this detective who's really, really fabulous at solving crimes and making connections and putting the pieces together, but he is a complete and total disaster. I mean, he's the worst. He's racist, sexist, just smelly, just horrible, and often wants to solve the crime at the expense of anything that could hold up in court because his methods are totally unorthodox. So my thing is, I have to make sure he solves the crime in a way that holds up in court. You know, like that he follows the procedure, that he has that he has a permit for the things that he's, you know, all of that stuff. Also, I think kind of off of the professional description of it, he's this really cynical guy, and he's, you know, significantly older than I am, and I get to kind of come in and be the optimist and the millennial and the girl from Portland and really challenge his belief that people are fundamentally bad with my belief that people are fundamentally good. And yeah, I have a sister who's a public defender in New Orleans and is constantly just standing up for the, you know, basic human rights of every American, and I think about her.
And does your character have a law background? Is that how she's able to really keep him on his toes in terms of doing the right thing?
I mean, I think that my character knows enough to be a detective. She doesn't have a law. My sister is a public defender. I am just a cop. I think if I had a law background, I would probably be a lawyer because this unit gives me a lot of trouble. Yeah, no, I think that, you know, I think that my character is very smart and very good at her job and is fighting to be taken seriously, because, I mean, just when you look at us, it's like there are 3 men who are not just tall, they're 6'4", and then it's like you're looking at them all lined up, and then you lose someone, and there comes it, and then it's me, like a foot below them. So yeah, I'm having a great time playing this scrappy tomboy girl who's not afraid to get her hands dirty and beat people up.
What about the unit makes her want to stay? If she's getting not getting the respect she deserves, and, you know, she has to be in some ways a glorified babysitter, what is really keeping her there versus looking for another job?
Because I care about the crimes that are being committed, and I think that I think that Gravely is really passionate about helping the people who've been hurt, and I think that keeps her there. And she's also really, really determined not to be bested and not to let it get the better of her. And I think ultimately also they figure it out how to work together. You know, they're different and there's conflict, but like after the first couple of episodes, they all have a function and they solve the crimes, and it's working. So it's not easy, but it's working.
How much are we getting to know about, like, her personal life or her life outside of working on these cases?
There's a little bit. Mm-hmm. There's a little bit. I feel like I've been really lucky in that I have a little bit more backstory than some of the characters, but yeah, you'll see. I know about it, and I think the other thing that was cool is that, like, this character was rewritten, and so when I came into it, they sort of knew what wasn't totally working, but I don't know that it was exactly known what it should be, so I got to do some of the figuring it out with them. And I went into it knowing that the audition was for a woman in her mid-30s with brown hair, and I knew that that was not me at all, but they were willing to see me. So I kind of just figured, like, if I try to do that, I'm going to be the worst one at that, because I'm neither of those things. I've only been out of grad school for 2 years, and so I just looked at Rain and I just played off of him, because here's this really great actor to be your scene partner, and if I can just be a foil for him, then whoever I am is always like in a sort of tension with him, and I think that's why they picked that. So.
Well, you talked about sort of millennial optimism. How do you play that without it coming across as sort of Pollyanna-ish and naive?
I'm a bad bitch.
Okay.
With a smile on her face.
Well, but how do you sort of how do you combine being a bad
I
bitch
don't
and
know.
being
I mean,
optimistic and?
I think that's a really good question. I've played parts in the past a lot, which is why I'm so grateful for this one, where I am, if anything, like the wide-eyed, optimistic, naive, innocent. I think there's a bottom with Gravely. Like, I think there's an intensity that this person, despite the fact that she is young, despite the fact that she might not have as much experience as the other people, is smart and knows what she's talking about. I mean, the millennials got Obama elected, you know, like, arguably. And so I think that there's a kind of a power that she takes and runs with. And I just don't want to be a Pollyanna. I don't think that's fun. I don't think it's interesting. So I try to make it as kind of I try to make it as funny as I can, and as kind of like this.
I don't
Put a word
exactly
to
know
that.
what's happening there.
I don't know.
There's a lot of interpretations we can
Yeah,
get.
just put this picture next to the interview.
There is some video, so
Screen grab.
we'll figure it out.